I wanted to ask now about the environmental laws. Business isn't happy because it's very difficult under these to sack the EPA CEO. So if you end up with someone there who doesn't really want to approve much, they could put a real brake on projects, is the argument to me. What do you say to that?
Well, I think there are powers there to remove the head of the EPA once it's established, if there are grounds to do so, as you would see in other independent office holders. I think there was, certainly, I think there was a disagreement, Andrew, between how much power the minister has versus how much power an independent body and independent has, and, accept that not everybody landed that where it was, where they wanted it. But I think there's certainly, you're not going to have a situation where you have an EPA commissioner who's not doing the job that can just continue on in that way. That will not happen.
And the concessions to Greens on coal and gas, the two-tiered system for fast-tracked approvals, and the concessions to them on forestry, you don't see them as a real handbrake on business?
Not at all. On forestry, I mean, what's happening there is we're saying that forestry should be treated the same as any other industry. So native forests, plantation forests, meeting national environmental standards and being treated and assessed in the same way as every other industry brings some consistency to the Act. Obviously, we've got some investment going in to support the adjustment of those new arrangements to make sure that the jobs, particularly in those areas where that continues in Tasmania and some parts of New South Wales, that those industries are supported. That's really important, was really important to the PM as part of these negotiations. We're a Labor Party, we support workers, and these investments do that. And on the fast tracking, look, the reality is the Act was, nobody liked the existing Act. They said, whether you're an environmentalist or in business or any state jurisdiction or the Commonwealth, everyone accepted it wasn't working, it wasn't fit for purpose. And I think the big breakthrough that comes with this legislation is, speeding up the assessment pathways, whether you're in the fast track or whether you just have your proposal ready to go with all the work that needs to be done, that the assessment process will be faster and simpler, and that is good for business. And I think, all credit to Murray Watt actually for getting this bill through. We needed to change the EPBC. It wasn't working for anyone. There was universal agreement about that, and now we've got a new arrangement in place.
Do you think politically, given the way energy prices are going, energy CEOs are warning the transition could mean rising power prices for a decade, do you think politically you'll have to keep some kind of rebate when you make this MyEFO decision on it, or are you just going to cut that cord?
So, the rebates were never built in as a permanent feature of our budget. Obviously, we look at these things from budget to budget to make those decisions, and we've been very clear we want to help households through the transition, whether it be through these rebates or things like our very successful and popular batteries program, where we see hundreds of thousands of houses trying to put batteries on their house to support their solar. So we'll always think about how we support households through the transition, and that will continue. We've done it in the last couple of budgets. That will continue.
Look, I do have to ask you about the Brittany Higgins case, because there's a lot of publicity concerning you in connection with it and court actions and the like. I know you're restricted from talking about court matters, but do you have a view on former staff of Fiona Brown's predicament going to court on this? And do you have a view with Linda Reynolds quite doggedly pursuing this matter through the courts?
Andrew, there are these matters underway, both for both Ms Brown and Ms Reynolds, and because of that, I'm not really in a position to add anything further to what I already have on the record.
Just briefly, is there any doubt in your mind in terms of whether or not the compensation payment to Brittany Higgins is above board?
Well, that matter, I think, was referred to the NAC, and they're the appropriate body to have any decisions to cast a view on that, and they have, in relation to at least one of those matters, had a decision based on that. I mean, I think that's what we set up the NAC for. If there was any concerns, it's gone there, and it's appropriate that authority deal with it.
Katy Gallagher, thanks so much for your time.